Alright, this part is unscripted, so if I stutter and mumble like an absolute moron, you'll know why. Anyway, before we begin this video, I just want to ask you, have you ever heard about Crateable? Crateable is a platform where you can connect with other collectors, follow other collectors, like their posts, share posts, and you can track the value of your collection. You track the value of your collection, or you can even log into your own collectibles and tell everybody how much it's worth. And all that is just scratching the surface. There's a lot more planned. As a Crateable champion, it is my duty to let you all know to check out the platform because it is so much fun and worth checking out alone. And it's not just limited to action figures. Video games, comic books, trading cards, you name it, you can log in any collectible. It doesn't just have to be an action figure. Although action figures are obviously on Crateable for, I can only barely do a good job talking about Crateable compared to the other Crateable champions. They do a much better job. But I hope I'm doing a good enough job for you guys, so hopefully this is enough to make my audience check it guys out. Check it out in the link in the description down below. There's a lot more planned for Crateable down the line, and we hope you look forward to it. But now, let's get on with the real meat and potatoes. Before we begin, a shout out is in order. Special thanks to Kaiju Connoisseur. He sold me Batra Special Color version, Godzilla 2012 San Diego Comic-Con Explosion Godzilla, Frozen Godzilla 2016, and Godzilla 1964 Emergence. I don't think this video could have been possible without you, so big thank you for hooking me up with these figures. And thank you so much for giving me them for a sweet deal. If anyone wants to check out his channel, the link is in the description down below. But anyway, what is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mariozilla, or you can call me Vinny, and today we're going to rank every single S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla figure from worst to best. I can't believe I made it this far in my collecting journey to complete the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla line. It honestly felt impossible. It's crazy to me that I was actually able to accomplish that. And we're going to celebrate with 2 videos. This is one of them. The next video is coming. I don't know when. Hopefully soon. I can't promise anything, so please be patient with me. I'm only one person. So let's see how all these figures rank up with each other. Now, one warning, I am excluding Anguirus because I do not have him yet, so be patient. I'll let you know how he ranks on his review. How's this going to work? Well, we're going to rank all the figures from worst to best. Basically how that works is we're going to go over each and every single figure, tell you guys what's wrong with it, what's good with it, and so on and so forth. I am disqualifying the Tamashii Mix Chogokin Mechagodzilla 1993 poster version because that is not a MonsterArts, that is a Chogokin figure. Yes, it's a companion release, but still, it is not MonsterArts. So that figure is disqualified. There is a total of 100 S.H.MonsterArts figures in my collection, not including Anguirus. So let's get started with the list from the very top, or bottom, however that works. The worst S.H.MonsterArts figure still goes to the MonsterArts Godzilla 2019 Night Color version. This figure sucks. No question about it. It's such a pitiful release that does nothing to spice anything up. It is bland, ugly, barely any accessories, and overall just does not have a strong shelf presence. It is ridiculous that Bandai actually allowed this figure to go through. Articulation is spotty, sculpt is a downgrade from the default Godzilla 2019, paint job looks like an amateur custom, the blue is barely visible in dark environments, and does nothing to pop on the shelf. And the accessories aren't much, no beam, just hands. The figure was also barely advertised, so Bandai clearly was embarrassed by this if they did nothing to market this figure, and it really shows the confidence they have in their product. So yeah, this figure is a complete disgrace, and I will not hear otherwise. Your money is better off spent elsewhere, and I still deem him the worst of the worst. This is the lowest MonsterArts has gone so far. Scar King. What can I say? Scar King was already not good, but over time, I don't know, it just feels like this figure has got worse. Still not the worst figure I owned, but it is still not a good figure either. The hands pop off easily, I hate the head sculpts, the articulation is not as dynamic as it should be, the figure is too top heavy, and some of the accessories are lacking. Something about this figure is just off, and it seems like it got worse over time. Goes to show how bad some of the Monsterverse figures can be. And this is one of them, and that price point does not help things. Too expensive for its own good, and I've said in my review, kick this figure out of your home. It has no place in the collection. King Ghidorah 2019 is another poor excuse of a figure. Paint job is borderline incomplete, articulation is impractical due to the fact this figure falls apart if you so much as look at it funny. I'm not kidding, one wrong touch and everything comes apart. The fact I even got it to stand on the turntable at all is a miracle. And accessories, there's nothing, no accessories, so that also stinks. And that price is ridiculous. Not cool, Bandai. Also, the figure is oversized as hell, does not scale with the other Monsterverse figures at all. This was one of the more hyped figures when this was coming out, but when it was released, who would have thought it would be as bad as it is now? Unacceptable. The support system he comes with also does not help much. It's almost useless. Almost. This is another figure that I don't recommend anyone tracking down. It's not worth it. Zuko and Mothra 2024. I'm going to keep it brief here since I'm working on the review right now, but all you need to know is that this is not a good 2-pack. Mothra is lame and Zuko angered me because of how he was made. If we can get Dragon Ball figures smaller than Zuko with better articulation and no pins, made by the same company, then Zuko should have been made the same way. Zuko has no leg to stand on. Zuko and Mothra have no place in the collection again, not worth the time, effort, or money. I'll go into more detail in my review. Mothra and Mothra Larva 1992 Special Color Version Set. All of my points with this 2-pack still stand to this day. It is a terrible 2-pack, and by far some of the worst Mothra figures. Well, the larva is okay. It's the Imago Mothra I can't stand for the life of me. So many things have been done wrong on this Imago Mothra. Paint job is incomplete, random QC issues like fingerprints, worse stability than the original release. It's not a good figure, and articulation feels stiffer. This figure damaged the MonsterArts line because it shows how Bandai really just did not care, and they wouldn't shape up for a while. Not to say they shaped up completely, but at least the Toho releases are getting better. Either way, this figure left a bad taste in collectors' mouths, including my own. Now, if I ever have to talk about this 2-pack again, I'm gonna eat my MonsterArts Godzilla 1994. Godzilla 2016 second and third form set. I have a question for you guys and gals. Why did you all defend this? This was clearly not what was shown in the promotional pics, and you gave this the okay and allowed Bandai to do more shit like this. The amount of comments I got on my review defending these two figures was ridiculous, and I couldn't believe collectors would think this is okay. I don't care if you like it. If you like these figures, that's fine, but that doesn't mean force your opinion down other folks' throats who don't even like what Bandai has given us. Form 2 has a soft sculpt, and Form 3's paint job is awful. To the discolored jaw, the discolored tail bottom, and the only saving grace is the articulation, but that only goes so far. You all deserved better, but still thought this was acceptable. Screw this release. Mechagodzilla 1974, yet another goddamn release that people defended because apparently reviewing a figure is not allowed and pointing out the flaws is not allowed. Well, screw you, I'm doing it anyway. The paint job is awful, the articulation is awful, the size is abysmal, the accessories are lackluster, and the price when first released was a no-go. $95? Absolutely not. The only saving grace is the sculpt, which is still beautiful in my eyes, but the paint job does not do a good job complementing it. Jesus Christ, it is ridiculous they got away with this back then. Also, I don't think I need to say it, but I will anyway. The shoulder rings are not ideal, break very easily, especially if stuck in the shoulders. That's a massive pain in the ass. Pretty much all my points with this figure still stand. It is not a good figure at all. Jesus Christ, we're still not out of the bad territory. The S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla 2016, the second major stinker in the MonsterArts line, and it doesn't matter if you get the original release or the reissue, the figure is still awful. The sculpt on the face is questionable, the paint job is especially atrocious on this, and the MSRP was a little much. Not cool, Bandai. This was when MonsterArts was really going downhill. Ridiculous this was even approved past quality control. No accessories at all either, which was really a bummer. Saving grace here is the articulation and size. Those are really good, so no issues with that, but jeez. this is still a terrible release, and really was just a bad omen for the line since, for a while, we were getting terrible release after terrible release. Don't get me wrong, it's not as bad anymore, but it was still bad when it was. This figure was a curse for the line, I'll just say that right now. Nowadays, I can talk about this figure without throwing a fit. I became a lot more mellow. Doesn't change the fact that this figure is still poor. Godzilla 2014 poster version. I'm sorry, I know this figure has its fans, but objectively speaking, this figure is not very good. Same issues as the original release with the articulation and sculpt, and the paint job really varies from figure to figure. Some figures look okay, while others look like it was smeared in Doritos dust. So that's not nice. And some figures, the paint job isn't even finished, which is terrible. I like this figure for the novelty, but ultimately you really don't need this figure. It's not worth hunting down. It was only released in Japan, so it's already kind of hard to find, so be aware this is already not easy to find, and it's probably not worth hunting down at all. Only completionists should get this figure, and it screams what the quality of the Monsterverse figures are normally like. Godzilla 2024. What a downgrade this is from Godzilla 2019 and even Godzilla 2021. This is a terrible release no matter how you slice it. The face sculpt is awful, the dorsal plates are not as good looking as Godzilla 2021, the articulation is once again spotty and hard to use, especially at the tail. We got a beam, so that's good, but that only helps the figure so much. This is not a good one. I don't recommend this one either. Your money is better off being spent elsewhere, like buy anything else. Anything else. Donate your money to charity, buy other better MonsterArts figures. This isn't worth it. I didn't score him in my review, but trust me, I knew he was going to be one of the worst releases. It's nothing good. Get anything else with your money. Get anything else. I feel I need to repeat that again. Get anything else. I don't care if it's another figure. Just get anything else other than this. I want to be more harsh on this release since it's nothing more than a cash grab, but what can I say? It's such a meh release, it's probably not even worth talking about at all, and for good reason. It's not only a bad figure, it's a nothing figure. Nothing at all. Don't get this figure again. Get Godzilla 2019 or 2021 instead. Those are more worth your time and money. Godzilla 1992 poster version. I also like to call this one Sludgezilla, because that's what the paint job reminds me of. It's sludge. It looks like a pile of sludge with pretty blue dorsal plates. The glitter and nice matte finish and paint job is gone, and what we were left with is this, and it looks really ugly. No beam accessories, though he really should have had one. Articulation is spotty because this mold was used an ungodly amount of times. Yes, it uses the 95 Godzilla mold, which for the 1992 Godzilla design is obviously not correct. Are you kidding me right now? This does not look good and is not worth hunting down. The novelty is almost non-existent here, and it goes for a lot of money on the aftermarket anyway, which is really not worth it. I like to say more good things here, I really do, but this is another bad figure for the books. Don't pick this up, it ain't worth it. Godzilla 2024 evolved. Fearsome Godzilla has not evolved with this figure. I don't care what anyone says, this figure is just poor and actively made me angry while reviewing it. So many things wrong that shouldn't be wrong in the first place. Godzilla in this form looked awesome in the promo images, but when the final product surfaced, I felt like I got the biggest bitch slap known to mankind. I had high hopes for this figure, I really did, but instead I was let down hard. Godzilla's sculpt is great, I'll give it that, it looks awesome, but the paint job is not there at all. Some good parts, but overall does not look consistent at all. Articulation is also not the greatest, sizing is arguably too small, and lack of accessories never helps. And that price point is the stuff of nightmares. Keep buying these and we'll see standard Godzillas go for $200, I'm calling it right now. And that doesn't mean higher quality, I hope everyone knows that. Godzilla 2014, the first major stinker in the MonsterArts line. Who would have thought it would be the sign of things to come? Jesus, this figure had so much wrong with it and people defended it. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. There's nothing to defend. I don't care if I can fix the paint job. I shouldn't have to in the first place. The face paint should have been flawless, should have been good. But of course, it was sloppy and horrible. The eyes were also derped up and not symmetrical. So that's always nice, isn't it?
The teeth looked terrible. The whole face was not up to snuff. The articulation was also not the greatest. It was hard to get some poses out of him due to the sculpt and engineering. Not impossible, but still challenging. Godzilla deserves a top spot of one of the worst figures because it should not have ended up like this at all. All it did was spelled trouble, and trouble we got for years to come down this line. Don't hunt this down, it's not worth it. Space Godzilla and Little Godzilla Special Color 2-pack. Both figures here are worse than the originals. The colors are just a lot worse. Space Godzilla looks like his shoulder crystals have piss on the base. His crown has a really thick coat of paint, and Little Godzilla is a little discolored in some spots. Space Godzilla comes with cool crystal accessories, but what good is that if the figure doesn't look good? Exactly, it doesn't help. Also, this set was never released outside of Japan, and it goes for so much money on the aftermarket. Special thanks to Scorpio Caesar for selling me his set for a good price. Otherwise, I'm honestly not sure if I would have been able to get this one. I definitely would have been stuck. Sculpts and articulation on both figures are decent, but the paint job does not complement the figures at all. It doesn't look good. This is another set that I don't recommend at all. It's not good and goes to show how Bandai was really not giving a crap about this line during this time period. Shimo. You might be wondering why Shimo is this low on the list. Well, after getting a certain other Shimo figure, I quickly had a change of heart with this Shimo. This was already not the greatest figure, but looking back at it, yeah, it's not good at all. First impressions were fine, and I still liked the figure, but after a while of owning it, I don't think this figure is very good at all. Plain looking paint, a very off-putting sculpt, the articulation looks over-engineered, the size is too big, and the accessories once again, and that price point makes it all worse. $240 should not have been the MSRP. No ifs, no ands, and no buts. This is a bad release hands down, not one of the worst figures, but definitely is still up there. Again, I really want to say more good things here, but I can't. I have nothing to say other than this figure kind of sucks. I'm sorry, but it's not good. And we'll still get mediocre Monsterverse figures without a doubt, so that's always nice. Thanks so much, Bandai. Rodan and Mothra 2019 2-pack. This is a very blah 2-pack. Rodan is okay, but Mothra not so much. Her colors are all wrong and she's too small, she's a pipsqueak. Rodan has a better size and actually looks kinda rad, but Mothra not so much. Her articulation is okay, but there isn't a lot of it due to her size. Also, her wings get looser over time and you need Tamashi stages to keep her wings up, so that's always nice. Rodan looks cool. His paint job I wish had more of a lava color on him, but other than that, his sculpt is good. Articulation is okay, and his size is a good size. Not bad at all. No accessories for either of these figures, unfortunately, besides their flight stance. Cool, we have stands. What about other things? Like buildings? Something. Anything. Again, not one of the worst sets I owned, but that doesn't make it good. I also don't recommend this 2-pack. There's better Rodan and Mothra figures out there. Godzilla 2023. Godzilla here is a disappointment without a doubt. Not the worst figure, but still not a good one either. It is a very mediocre release. What was hyped up should have been awesome, but of course Bandai messed it up. The articulation is good and the sculpt is good, and size is also good, I'll give it that. But the paint job, like usual, needed a lot of work. How do you keep screwing up the paint job on these figures? I don't understand it. It shouldn't be that hard, is it? Either way, for a figure with a high MSRP, the figure should have came out flawless. Just, come on, really? The paint job has no consistency at all, it looks not very good, and the price point is too high for standard Godzilla. I don't understand why it's so expensive. If it was cheaper, I would be singing a different tune. But as of now, I also don't recommend this figure unless you are a diehard fan of Godzilla -1. Great movie, mediocre figure. Godzilla 1989 Exclusive Edition. You know, the figure with charged up dorsal plates and also doesn't have a beam for some reason? Literally to this day makes no sense. Like, Toho, why didn't you approve a beam? Just give the fans what they want. It's not that hard. Either way, good grief, this figure is okay. Not the worst, but not the best. I don't hate it, but it could have been so much more. And there's just something that makes me like the original Godzilla 89 more. Sure, the teeth paint is better here, I'll give it that, and I like the blue dorsal plates, the light shines through them nicely. It looks good, but the price point and no beam makes this figure not one of the better ones. So much more could have been done here, but no, of course not. They cheaped out like usual. If they do more exclusive edition figures, at least give them accessories. Like, geez, again, it can't be that difficult. Godzilla 2001 Heat Ray version, yet another figure that should have had a beam included, but no, of course not. And his price again is too high with no accessories. Makes no sense to me why he has no beam. I don't understand. If this is the Heat Ray version, where's the beam? The sculpt is good, paint job is a little worse than the original, and the price is ungodly. Like, come on, really? You couldn't have included anything? This is another mediocre release that's hard to recommend. If you don't have the original GMK Goji, then maybe that's a reason to pick this up. But if you do have the original, then don't bother with this at all. It's not worth it. You're better off looking elsewhere. This figure is not worth the MSRP or aftermarket prices. Just ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist. Godzilla 2016 orthochromatic version. I slightly grew to like this figure a bit more, but make no mistake, that doesn't make it good. This is still a very mediocre figure, and I have nothing to talk about other than it's not a good figure at all, and doesn't do a good job at giving us a black and white Godzilla 2016. That price doesn't help either. Godzilla here doesn't have anything going for him right now. It's just a poor release. He's not even an epic fail, just a normal failure. A failure so normal that it's not even notable. I'm really struggling to come up with something else to say, but this really is a nothing figure. There's nothing to say at all. Like, come on, you're kidding me, right? You can't do a black and white color scheme right on a Godzilla figure of all things? Jeez. Sculpt is still bleh, paint is bleh, articulation is good and size is good, but no accessories, and the high MSRP? Absolutely not. This is another figure I can't recommend. Godzilla 2017. This figure is decent. I can't say it's top of the top, but back when it was released, it was definitely a breath of fresh air. The figure had a lot of girth, so it was large for sure. He also had great articulation and sculpt. However, the paint job can be seen as a little spotty, and I mean that literally. I don't know why he has so many small spots on him. Maybe it was meant to be shading, I don't know. The rest of the paint job is fine though, perfectly okay, blending and shading throughout the whole figure, which is nice. But this figure is hard to recommend simply because Godzilla Earth exists. So there's no reason to have this figure when that one exists. We all know this is not meant to be Phileas, it is meant to be Godzilla Earth before becoming, well, Godzilla Earth. So I just wanted to clear that up. This isn't Phileas Godzilla. So my point still stands. There's no reason to own this. Godzilla 1964, the first Showa Godzilla to enter the line, and it was one of the more popular Godzilla suits. This was the only Showa Godzilla for a while until more Showa Godzilla finally started coming out. Godzilla 1964 has a lot of flaws though. It is a very flawed release. Not bad, mind you, just flawed. I love the eyes, they look nice, and the sculpt is pretty good. But the articulation clashes with the sculpt and it looks a little messy. I get what Bandai was trying to do here, but it doesn't work. Also, this figure is grossly undersized. This was released when Bandai tried making the Showa era its own scale. Fans were not pleased with that decision, and Bandai backpedaled with future Showa figures, mostly anyway. The figure still does not have accessories, but it was one of the cheaper figures, so it wasn't exactly a big deal. Either way, I'm not sure I could recommend this figure while the next figure exists. Godzilla 1964 Emergence version. This figure is decent for the same reason as the last figure. Good sculpt, paint job is decent, but nothing fixes that ungodly gap on the back. And also this figure has one benefit that the first one doesn't have. A beam. So that's nice, a beam was included this time around, but I wish we didn't have to rely on repaints to get beams with our figures. Little ridiculous. Godzilla also has a dirt-like paint job to represent him emerging from the ground in Godzilla vs. Mothra. Godzilla is another decent release, and this is one I can recommend, assuming the abysmal size does not bother you. The Godzilla 64 mold will go down as being one of the most experimental figures in the line, but hey, if you had to get this before getting the other better Showa Godzilla figures in this line, then it was worth it. Burning Godzilla 1995 Ultimate version. Some of you might be surprised to see this figure this high so far. Well, I don't hate it like other collectors do. In my opinion, it might be overhated actually. Of course, the eyes not being symmetrical is not acceptable, oh god no. But besides that, the figure is not offensively awful. I might go as far to say it's decent actually. I love these smoke accessories, they actually look pretty killer on this figure in person, and can work with the other Heisei Burning Godzilla figures. The figure also has a decent paint job, and looks wet to make it look like he emerged from the water. At least that's what it looks like. I don't mind it. I think it looks cool. The dorsal plates look beautiful yet again. Getting this for the price I did at the time was definitely one of the best collecting scores I made, and I'm happy to have him in the collection. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, and I wouldn't go as far to say it's the ultimate version, but it's not a bad release either, so for its worth, it could have been worse. Godzilla Jr. Special Color version. Now this is a weird release. I'm not a fan of this weird paint job he's got going. It looks very inconsistent with the shading all over the place, so I'm not sure how to feel about that. The figure also seems to be looser than the original Junior figure. Other than those things, I think this figure is also decent. This version of Junior also includes a beam, so that's nice. It's small and cute just like him. The figure is tiny, very tiny. One of the smaller Godzilla figures in the line, but that's not a bad thing, he's supposed to be small. I do wish we got more vehicles to come with him like the previous Junior, but I guess that was too much to ask for. I do like the heat ray accessory though, but the stand is way too big for the beam to be properly used from his mouth, so that's a bummer. But other than that, this figure is okay. King Ghidorah 2019 Special Color version. This is the last Special Color version figure to be released in the line, and holy hell, it's so much better than the previous King Ghidorah 2019. The figure doesn't fall apart, it actually holds itself together. The paint job is better. Overall, this figure has more appeal than the first one. What sucks though is the lack of accessories, and the sculpt got no improvements, so that sucks. But the paint is beautiful. The gold color is to die for, and the figure poses better due to him not falling apart at all. Thank God. It still uses the same support system as last time, so unfortunately it doesn't hold up the figure all that well, so don't get too excited. This figure is a personal favorite, but it's not the big favorite. That's coming much later, so stick around for that. If I have to recommend any MonsterArts Ghidorah 2019, it's definitely this one, if you could find it for a good price. Don't pay anything more than MSRP, it's not worth that much. Godzilla 1962. Godzilla here is another decent release, but still has its fair share of issues. The eyes are not accurate, there's no color on the claws, and some of the articulation is a little awkward. Doesn't pose as well as it could. He can't even do his famous clap. He has a beam at least, which is nice. No one was expecting that, but his price was not exactly a good one. $100 for this figure, and he has a lot of problems. If he was cheaper, definitely would have been higher on the list. But unfortunately, he's not very high up on the list. Sorry fans of this figure, he's good, don't get me wrong, but he's not great. I beg to say anything better, but unfortunately, I don't really have a lot to say. It's okay, like Ultimate Burning Godzilla, he's not offensive to own. I only recommend this if you need Godzilla 62 for the collection. Other than that, you can pass on this. It's not needed. He doesn't even have King Kong to go up against, and will probably never see that due to licensing problems. Get this figure if you need 62 Goji. Godzilla 1989 Ko Kyo Kyoku, from the subline that only lasted for one figure. This is the only figure in the line. We never got anything else due to the figure's poor sales, and rightfully so, this figure was so disappointing. The light up feature looked very bright in the promo pics, but here it looks dull and dim, and the music and sounds, while nice, are nothing but cheap gimmicks that tries to justify the absurd MSRP that was $180. That is ridiculous even for this. A good representation of Godzilla 1989, but a terrible gimmick figure. Get the standard Bio Goji instead. This figure is not worth it. Yes, it looks nice, poses decently, but that only goes so far. I want to say more good than bad, but there's nothing to say here. Godzilla 2016 Maquette, I think that's how you say it, forgive me. The Godzilla 2016 Maquette version Godzilla Store exclusive. This is a nice figure. Like, honestly, the Maquette, again, I apologize if I butchered that, design looks really nice here. I love it. The figure's paint job brings out so much of the details, it's not even funny how much of the detail the paint brings out. It looks so good. It's quite the rarity though, so if you want it, you'll have to hunt it down. It's a nice figure, but I only recommend it if the novelty appeals to you. It appeals to me, and that's why I got it. The articulation is also kept here, and he poses really well. That's one thing I'll give the Godzilla 2016 fourth form figures. It poses really well. So, well done. I don't have a lot to say other than that this is a nice figure and I'm happy to have it in the collection. Godzilla 2016 second to third form set maquette version. Again, I apologize if I butchered that. Like the previous figure, this is also a Godzilla store exclusive, and I think this is really nice due to the paint really bringing out the details on both figures. They look really good. Articulation on second form is still limited, but at least he looks nice now. The articulation on the third form is nice as well, poses really well. They go great with Godzilla 2016 fourth form. And again, these are nice for the same reason as the last figure. I recommend getting your hands on these if you find the novelty attractive. Just try not to break the bank for these though. It's not worth that much. Space Godzilla Fukuoka Decisive Battle version. This is another nice figure for sure, but it is flawed. Some of the paint job is a little clumpy, but the sculpt is very nice as always, and the paint where it's nice is really nice. I also love the battle damaged accessories on this. They look awesome, and I love the effects. Again, it really helps the figure, but that price is not nice. I don't know what Bandai was thinking with that, but at the very least this figure looks good. If it was cheaper, then yeah, would have been higher on the list, but otherwise, it's staying put here. Godzilla 1991 Shinjuku Decisive Battle version. Another okay figure. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. My opinion, it might be a little overhated, honestly. I only have 2 issues with it, but that's about it. The dry brushing on the head is weird since it's not all over the body, and the leg articulation is a regression back to how Godzilla 1994 worked, but that's about it. Honestly, other than that, this is a fine figure and a suitable representation of the Shinjuku 1991 suit. I really don't see what the big deal is with this figure other than those 2 things, because everything else is fine, no major problems. That price point also does not help things at all, too expensive for its own good. If you can look past the issues, I'd say this is a nice figure to have for the collection in all honesty. Your mileage may vary though. You may like it, or you may not. Mogira G-Force Storage Dock Sally version. If you have the original Mogira figure, this is pretty much the same thing, except he has the dock this time. And no chest beam, which is lame. He still has the missiles though, so that's nice. But no cool city bases for the beams and no flight stand for his flight mode. And this is $150 as well. Yeah, that price point is absolutely ridiculous. No matter how you slice it, it's not nice. The figure is good, don't get me wrong. If you love the original, you'll most likely like this one as well. But there's something about it that just seems off to me. Articulation and sculpted paint apps are really nice. Well, the articulation can use some work considering this is here over a decade after the first Mogira released. The mold should have been updated for sure. And I think this would have been a much better figure. This is perfectly serviceable and fine as it is. I just know it could have been better, but it's not. It's just okay. Mechagodzilla 1993 and Garuda and Fire Rodan Makohari Decisive Battle version set. A 3-pack. Yes, the Garuda counts as a 3rd piece here. Mechagodzilla really needed mold improvements because this is still the same 1993 Mechagodzilla mold as before. It's nothing new and the articulation is still the same, meaning no improvements. Well, isn't that nice? Rodan also got no new updates. It could have used some torso articulation at least. So what the heck? The flight stand is here and that's all fine and dandy, but where's Mechagodzilla's flight stand? Accessories for him are nice, I'll give it that, but it's still a bit of a letdown since the Garuda doesn't have beams again. Rodan doesn't look as nice as the original figure because the veins on this one are not subtle. They look very flashy. Sculpt and paint on both figures are nice and clean, so there's that. But overall, this isn't a favorite and it's too expensive for its own good, yet again. Only pick this up if you need both Mechagodzilla 93 and Fire Rodan, otherwise, stay away. Godzilla 2016 4th Form Night Combat version. The good Shin Godzilla. The eyes and the teeth are still a problem, but the paint is so much better, and the translucency really helps the figure pop on a shelf. The red looks gorgeous here, I must say. Godzilla looks awesome like this, and I really thought the figure was going to suck when it first released, but to my surprise, it's actually decent. It's not the best figure in the world, but it's still a very nice piece that I do recommend for Shin Godzilla fans. No accessories is a real chink in the arm, and the price point is still ungodly high. Should not have been as expensive as it is. Other than that, this is what the first Godzilla 2016 figure should have been. A good figure with great articulation and size. It's really fun, so I recommend getting this if possible. Godzilla 2016 Awakening version. Like Night Combat before it, this is also a really nice figure. I've grown to like it a lot more when I first got it. It's a really nice piece. I love the accessories and the colors on this figure. It looks awesome. I said that this figure we should have gotten in the first place because it actually looks nice. The accessories are awesome and the articulation is really good like usual on Godzilla 2016. It's just a really nice piece, and it's a shame not a lot of people have it because it was never released outside of Japan. And it's really pricey on the aftermarket as well. It's not impossible to get, it's just really hard to find. I'm just glad I got it when it first came out, otherwise, oh boy. I recommend this if you could find it for a good price. It's worth it for sure. I don't have a lot to say since I would be repeating myself, so just know this is a nice piece. Kong 2024. This figure is good, but not the best. My big problem with it is that they did nothing to update the figure after the 2021 Kong. In terms of sculpt and accuracy, it's just a lazy repaint. The figure was never bad, it just wasn't what it could have been. Also, this figure is better with all the DLC accessories, but you need to spend an arm and a leg to get the accessories, which is not ideal. Especially since they belong to some of the worst figures in the line that you definitely don't want. So that's a shame. If you have the accessories anyway, then this is a fun figure to mess with for sure, but it's not the first Kong I would recommend. If you're a completionist or want to make sure that the Beast Glove arm matches, Kong is nice, but it isn't the nicest figure out there. You'll find out what I mean later in the video. Godzilla 2016 Frozen version. The best Shin Godzilla, ironically, is the Frozen version. Why? Well, look at it. It looks awesome. The dry brushing and blending looks so nice, the details looks very nice. How can no one like this figure? No accessories blow, and this is another expensive release, but it's not a bad release either. I like it a whole bunch. Like I said previously, this figure is good because of what makes the Night Color and Awakening good. Great articulation and size, good colors, and all that. This is a nice figure for sure. I like it a lot. I recommend this if you're a die-hard fan of Shin Godzilla. Godzilla 2023 minus color version, the black and white Godzilla 2023, which looks much better than the original release in all honesty. It's just such a nice upgrade. The paint job actually looks good and has plenty of consistency, which is nice. I hate that there's no accessories again, and that the price point is not good at all, but this figure has its own share of merits that make it worth owning. The novelty is there, and overall this is just a nicer piece. I wish it was better, but it's not bad at all. Far from it. It's a good figure, just not a favorite. I do recommend this more than the original Godzilla 2023 release, and as I've said, this has more merit, and I like him a lot, so I recommend him for sure. Jet Jaguar 1973. The sad thing about this figure is that it's not even bad at all. It has its own merits, but the lack of suit accuracy sucks and the colors are all off, which makes no sense. How did you mess that up? Other than that, this is an okay figure. It's good even. It's Jet Jaguar after all. We waited a long time to get this version of the character, and now that it's in collector's hands, yeah, I'm happy with it. I just wish Bandai did not falsely advertise. This isn't one-to-one accurate with the suit at all. Other than that, the articulation is fun, the size is okay, and the accessories are fun too. I definitely recommend him if you need a Jet Jaguar figure of this design in the collection. Mechagodzilla 2021, a figure that feels very incomplete. I can't permit him to be higher on the list because he just feels like a lot of things are missing. And I know I'm not wrong because I don't get the same feeling with the new version coming out. Like, this is a good figure, but it's nothing special. There's really nothing to say here, really. It's just there, like, come on, what happened? Also, his price point does not help things at all. It is, again, very expensive for its own good. A trend you probably noticed with most modern MonsterArts figures, and I really wish that wasn't the case at all. Back to this though, I don't recommend it, especially with the new figure coming out. Get that one instead. Trust me, it's gonna be much better than this one, I promise you that. Rodan 2021 Second Form, a figure I was kind of harsh with on my review, but things have changed and I grew to like this a bit more. It's a nice figure and a perfect army builder. It's one of the few MonsterArts figures where you can buy multiple to army build, so that's always nice. Rodan has a nice swarm of Rodan accessories and his own flight stand as well, which is always nice. He's a good price for what you get, and overall I think this is a nice figure for the collection if you're a fan of Singular Point. There's plenty to like here. I like this figure a whole bunch and do recommend him if you're a fan of Godzilla Singular Point. He's a lot of fun, especially if you have multiple. Rodan is a nice release, so I'd say grab him if possible. Godzilla Ultima 2021. I fail to see how this is a bad figure in all honesty. I think it's really nice. Sure, the face sculpt can use some work and the paint on it is not the cleanest, but not horrendous like some other figures. I honestly think Ultima might be an underrated gem for the line. He's not bad at all. I like his sculpted paint, I love his articulation, his size is nice, and overall, I didn't feel ripped off when buying it. Don't get me wrong, I think his price is also too high, but I don't feel like it's an awful price either, if that makes any sense given his girth. I recommend him if you're a fan of Singular Point. Again, he makes a nice addition to the collection. Godzilla 1994, the first ever MonsterArts figure to release. Yep, this is the one that started it all. And nowadays, I'd say he still holds up nicely. But man, we really need an update for this figure. He's good, but he's aged. And it shows comparing him to some of the modern Heisei Godzillas. Also, his beam is not as blue as I would have liked it in all honesty. His eyes are not symmetrical on the first run of the figure, but it was the first figure to release in the line, so it's acceptable here. You gotta give the benefit of the doubt because it was the first of its kind. Godzilla 94, I still liked even today, but I do believe Bandai can do a much better job if they ever release an updated version of this guy. Only hardcore MonsterArts fans should get this figure. Little Godzilla. This figure is nice. Good sculpt and colors, and awesome accessories. I love the crystals this figure comes with. They are so nice and can be used for Space Godzilla as well, so that's awesome. Of course, you're meant to display him being trapped within the crystals, but using them only for that is lame. I really do love the figure and set here. I think it's really nice and well done. I absolutely recommend him if you can find him. Mechagodzilla 1993 UX0293, the first Mechagodzilla to release in the line. It was good for its time, but it was beaten out by Super Mechagodzilla, which you'll see later in the video. This figure is nice because he comes with a bunch of accessories, including one of his beams, the Mega Buster. Mechagodzilla poses decently for the time this was released, but it wasn't as good as Godzilla's because of the lack of bicep swivel. It's also weird that's not included here, and even more questionable on the future releases of this mold. Oh well. Still, I believe we have a decent figure here. I only recommend it if you want to complete the line, or if you want a Heisei Mechagodzilla with a beam. UX0192 Garuda, the weapon to help complete Mechagodzilla 1993. It has beams, it has the G-Crusher accessories, also a flight stand with a design printed on the base, which is always nice. You guessed it, it also can attach to Mechagodzilla's back to make him Super Mechagodzilla. That's awesome. There's not a lot to say here, honestly. This is just a nice set and helps complete the original Mechagodzilla 93. Plus, this has the beams, so that's nice. I recommend it, but not for the prices it's going for. Toho Ultimate Weapons and Godzilla Effects Set. This is also a nice set because it comes with army pieces to recreate battle scenes with Godzilla fighting the military, tanks, planes, and even the Super X2, and a red beam for Godzilla, which is awesome. I love getting extra beams for these figures. This is a nice set we got, I must say. Overall, I do recommend getting your hands on this if you can find it for a good price. It's not worth the ridiculous prices you might see on eBay. King Ghidorah 1991. This figure will live on in infamy for being the figure that breaks over time. Thankfully, mine is still held up, but I know its time is coming. Other than the impending breakage, the figure isn't bad at all. Quite nice actually. Articulation is good and the accessories are nice. And the sculpted paint are pretty solid as well. Ghidorah just looks like a solid figure overall, but man, those wings are a problem. And it's the reason I can't recommend this figure despite being good. Sure, it's nice, but I don't recommend it because of how easy it is to break. Plus, there's another, better Ghidorah figure on this list that I recommend a lot more than this. He's good, but not worth it due to the wings. Mogira, the king of accessories. He comes with a lot of stuff and all for less than $100. His sculpted paint job is good. His articulation was good for its time, and again, those accessories are very nice. I love them. The chest beam and the missiles, the building bases are neat, and of course, his flight mode accessories are here and accounted for. Awesome. Mogira ain't nothing to shake a stick at. He's an excellent figure for sure, and I recommend him if you can find him for a good price. He's awesome, and I like him more than the Doc Sally version. The price he had is too enticing, and he comes with a lot more, so that's why this version ranks higher. Batra and Batra Larva Special Color Version set. This set is so much better than the Mothra Special Color Version set. It's not even a contest. This wins. This straight up wins, okay? Both Batra figures are good and don't have problems falling apart, which is always nice. I actually do like this 2-pack a lot. Also, Batra Larva has a beam this time, the Horn Lightning, which is awesome. I wish Imago Batra had his eye beams though. That would have been awesome. What else can I say? I think this is a good release. Underrated for sure. Both Batras looks nice, and he has a lot of merits. I recommend this set if you could find it for a good price. Destroya Evolution set. Another set, and it is flawed. Aggregate Destroya looks a little cartoony, flying form has no flight stand, and crab form lacks articulation. The set back then was also really expensive, almost $100. It was $89 to be exact, for a complete set. And these figures are tiny as well, but at the end of the day, this was an awesome set still. Getting all of Destroya's other forms in one whole package, so it's hard to hate the set. But it is still very flawed. Just want to make that clear. But overall, I don't consider this a bad set, and I do recommend it if you can find it at a good price. It can go for a lot of money on the aftermarket, so be aware of that. Batra. This is also another flawed release. Weird paint on the wings and the legs can fall apart real easily, but I still say this is a nice figure. It does look a bit better than the special color version, and it's more worth its price. Batra coming out was a big deal back then. Another issue I have is that the cradle is not exactly securing Batra all that well. He can be loosey-goosey on the cradle, so be aware of that. I do love the design on the base of the stand though. Other than the issues, Batra is another nice release that I do recommend, if you could find them for a good price. Yeah, a lot of these figures are really expensive on the aftermarket. Fire Rodan. Veterans of the channel may be surprised to see this figure not so high up on the list. Well, things change over time, and this is one of those changes. Make no mistake though, this is still a great release, completes the Godzilla and Mechagodzilla figures, and Rodan himself comes with a few accessories, a flight stand and his beam, which is awesome. Rodan ain't nothing to scoff at. It's a really nice release and also a very good looking release as well. He's also tiny, so be aware of that. Rodan is not one of the bigger figures. Messing with this figure again is definitely nostalgic. This was released in the MonsterArts Golden Age. I recommend him as well if you could find him for a deal. Gigan 2004. This is another awesome figure. Accessories to make him Chainsaw Gigan, and his articulation is also really good. I also do love the sculpt despite not being accurate to the suit. It's a very stylized figure, but I love it. It looks awesome to me. It always did. No beam is a shame, but I'm not mad at it since it already comes with a few accessories anyway, and all for less than $100. That's awesome. Gigan deserves a spot in the collection, but even though this is a great release, I can't recommend him when another figure of him exists. I'll go over that in a bit, but just know that this is an awesome release. Burning Godzilla 2019. I fail to see how this is a bad figure at all. It's not even bad. I actually enjoyed this figure quite a bit. I like it. Burning Godzilla here looks really cool with the translucent colors and the lava-ish paint job. He looks incredible, and it's how he defeated King Ghidorah. Godzilla's head is a downgrade, but that's hard to notice on a figure with this design, honestly. I don't think it looks terrible. Not yet, anyway. This figure was also less than $100, but I would have loved a beam or something. Oh well. I recommend this if you're a diehard fan of Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's a nice figure. Godzilla 2001, the first GMK Goji, who is much better than the Heat Ray version, in my opinion. This looks so much nicer. That brown, I can admit, can be off-putting, but honestly, it doesn't look that bad. No accessories is definitely a bummer, but the articulation is good and the sculpt and paint apps aren't bad. Sculpt could still use some work though, especially at the jaw area. Too much of an overbite, so that's not nice. And paint on the dorsal plates could have been done better as well, but I still love this figure despite its flaws. It's still a nice release for sure. I recommend this if you could find him for a good price. Godzilla 1954, the second Showa Godzilla to join the line, the original King of the Monsters in MonsterArts form. Some issues like the sculpt having too much of the Yuji Sakai touch, the eyes are not symmetrical, so that sucks, and no accessories because of course. But at least this was one of the cheaper figures. That's gotten reissued a couple times actually, pretty cool. The black and white color scheme is also pretty nice to look at. I like it quite a bit actually. It's not bad at all. Overall, if you need the original Godzilla, then I'd say pick this figure up if you could find him for a deal. He's great, but not $200 great. Godzilla Jr., another awesome figure. Godzilla Jr. here is awesome. Despite that tiny size, he packs a lot of articulation, can hold itself together pretty well, helicopter accessories which are always nice. Jr. is a nice release overall. It's a lot of fun. Special Color Jr. was okay, but he had a fair share of issues that this one doesn't have. No beam is a shame, but at least he still has some merits to own him. I definitely recommend Junior if you don't have him already. The helicopter accessories are nice, and overall the figure itself is pretty nice. Definitely grab him if you can. Meltdown Godzilla Comic-Con Explosion San Diego Comic-Con 2012 exclusive. A very nice novelty to own. It's pretty cool, but he's climbing up in price like no one's business. So I'm just going to say right now, get him before it's too late. The days of him being $100 are long past us. He goes for at least $250 now, and I wouldn't wait too much longer or else he's gonna go up a lot higher. Godzilla's colors are really nice. I love the explosion paint job they gave him. He looks excellent. Godzilla's articulation is the same as 1994's, but he's still a nice novelty to own if you loved to collect Comic-Con exclusives. So like I said before, get him now before his price goes up any higher. He's awesome, but not $300 awesome. Godzilla 2019 event exclusive, a criminally underrated figure that I think deserves more love. Like, in all honesty, I love this figure a lot. It's good for the same reasons as Comic-Con Explosion Godzilla. It's really good. Has a beam accessory and a very nice blue color, translucent as well. It looks awesome. Godzilla has a frosty paint job going and it looks great in my opinion. I recommend him. He's relatively inexpensive on the aftermarket, so you can probably get him without a problem. If you could find him, then I'd say go for it. He's a nice release. I like this, and the Explosion Godzilla about the same. They're really nice figures, but this one deserves more love. Super Mecha Godzilla. The first time they reused the Garuda, but the Garuda has no beams, which is a bummer. Also, no G-Crusher accessories for Mechagodzilla, but despite that, this is a pretty awesome figure, and I do display him pretty much as Super Mechagodzilla. He also has new engineering in the head to put him in flight mode easily, unlike the first release where it was a bit more clunky in my opinion. This one has flow and it feels nice. I like him a whole bunch. If you need Super Mechagodzilla for the collection, then I'd say definitely pick this figure up. It's worth it for sure in my opinion. Just don't go breaking the bank when buying this, it can be pretty pricey. Toho Ultimate Weapons Set 2. The second Ultimate Weapons set, this time coming with the Super X3, which is awesome, and buildings. That's really cool. These sets go for a lot of money, but when you can find these for a good deal, then it's very much worth it. I love this set a whole lot. We get more tanks and planes, a custom base, the works. It's really cool. I definitely recommend this for sure, it's worth it. Godzilla Effects Set 2. Like the previous set, we also get buildings and, by God, an explosion piece for Godzilla's beams. More bases, it all looks really cool. I love this set as well. Plenty of options and variety. It's here to really enhance the display options, and it's a shame we never got to see an Effects Set 3. It's so weird we didn't, like come on, that would have been awesome. Like the previous set, I highly recommend this if you can find it for a good price. These tend to go for a lot of money, so be careful not breaking the bank getting these. Godzilla 2023 Heat Ray version, the best Godzilla 2023 figure so far. It looks awesome. I love the colors, I love the accessories, and I love the articulation. The paint actually complements the sculpt here, and it looks awesome. The beam is also really nice. It's a shame too because this figure is not really all that accessible. It was a Tamashii Nation 2024 exclusive, so it wasn't available publicly. Who knows if it ever will. If you could somehow manage to find this for a good deal, I'd say grab it. Who knows if it'll stay in the realms of affordability? It probably won't. So get this now before it's too late. Otherwise you will regret it, especially if you're a fan of Godzilla -1. Mecha King Ghidorah, the first Mecha King Ghidorah to be released in the line, and he is really cool. Comes with the machine hand accessories, which is awesome, and his articulation is pretty decent. It's pretty good, and the sculpt is pretty neat as well. Obviously some parts were reused, but that's to be expected. It makes sense for that to happen. No beams again sadly, and that price tag is a big yeesh. But hey, that was to be expected. Also the Dorats suck. They are not good accessories. Mecha Ghidorah, though, himself is an awesome release, but it's something I can't recommend because it goes for loads of money, and the next figure I would recommend more than this one. Mecha King Ghidorah Shinjuku Decisive Battle Special Set. Like the previous Mecha Ghidorah, he comes with the machine hand accessories and battle damaged wings, which is really cool. A battle damaged Mecha King Ghidorah. No Dorats accessories this time, but maybe that was for the best. No beams either, which is a bummer, but Mecha Ghidorah is still an awesome figure. Good sculpt and paint, good accessories and articulation, it's pretty cool, but yeah, that price is not nice. I only recommend this if you're a die-hard Ghidorah fan, only if you can find this for a good price, because like the previous figure, this goes for a lot of money. Be aware of that, and you'll be golden. Godzilla featuring Evangelion 01. What used to be a laughingstock in the community now is seen as a very nice collector's piece. This was very silly back then because it was around the time of constant repaint after repaint, and this was a repaint, and collectors were not happy and they criticized the figure, which is not fair to the figure because in my opinion, I think it's really nice. I'm dead serious, I love this figure and the novelty behind it. I think it's excellent. It has a very nice shelf presence and nice overall appeal. This is a very nice piece for sure, and he has a beam. Who doesn't love a beam? So, that's awesome. But he goes for a lot of money on the aftermarket for sure. I recommend him, but not for the prices you'll normally see. If you could somehow find this for a good price, I definitely recommend him in that case. Godzilla 2021, another criminally underrated figure. I really do like this a whole lot. The dorsal plates are perfectly screen accurate to how they glow in the movie, so that's awesome. The articulation is still awesome, and he comes with alternate hands. No beams sadly, but the alternate hands are a nice touch. He has a lot of merit. Godzilla here may have some issues in the face, but it doesn't look that bad. At least not yet. Godzilla is really cool, and I recommend him more than the 2024 Godzilla. So if you want him, get him now before his price skyrockets. He won't stay cheap forever, that's for sure. So keep that in mind and you'll be golden. He's a nice figure, but not over $100 nice. Kong 2021. This is another nice figure, and he's the companion piece for Godzilla 2021. He has his axe, alternate hands and faces, though I will say he should have come with a teeth gritted face included here. But overall, he has a nice presence and goes great with Godzilla 2021. I like this figure like the last one. Articulation is nice as well, and his price is appealing for sure. I think he went up in price a little bit, but he's still relatively cheap, but this isn't the Kong figure I would recommend first, unless you're a completionist. There's another figure later that's worth that much, so hold your horses, that comes later. So this is a nice figure, but not $100 nice. Godzilla 2014 Spitfire version, the figure we should have gotten for Godzilla 2014 in the first place. This is everything it should have been. No stupid red slop on the lips, the teeth don't suck as bad, and the eyes are still not symmetrical, but at least not as horrendous. This is a fun release to be sure. I think it's really cool. Is it the best? Obviously not, but it's still up there as one of the MonsterArts greats, in my opinion anyway. Godzilla is also translucent and the blue is gorgeous to look at. It looks very good. I wish there were some articulation improvements, but it's nothing horrible like the other figures. This is a perfect representation of Godzilla 2014 and I recommend it for sure. Godzilla 1989. This is a nice release, better than the event exclusive for sure. It looks great. I love the sculpt and the paint job, articulation is good, and its price wasn't horrendous like they are today. Although no beams is a real bummer again. Godzilla here is nothing to scoff at. I like this better than the event exclusive figure for sure. There's just actual merits for this figure that wasn't there with the other figure. Does that make sense? Either way, this is a nice release. I recommend him, especially if you're a fan of Bio Goji. He'll make a nice addition to the collection. And I don't think he's too expensive either. I don't know, and I'm too lazy to fact check myself. Mothra 1992. This is a very nice piece. My only issue is that the wings can become very loose over time, but mine is still holding up well, thankfully. Mothra has gorgeous paint covered all over the figure, and the sculpted details are excellent. No beams, but she has a stand, and her cradle is much better and more secure than Batra's, so that's nice. The wings have great paint too. The patterns were captured wonderfully on the figure. Her articulation is decent as well. She poses pretty nice. Batra was more limited, but Mothra, not bad at all, I must say. I recommend this figure for sure, especially if you're a fan of Mothra. Burning Godzilla 1995, the first Godzilla 1995 mold to be used here, and man, it was such a good figure for its time. Godzilla looks gorgeous, and it's a shame that this mold hasn't gotten any updates. It makes no sense. No beams here, but Fire Rodan came out before this, so the spiral ray from that could be used here. Not a big deal. Godzilla does come with alternate hands and 2 tanks though, so that's awesome. Godzilla is great here. I love the burning patches as well. The whole figure is translucent, so light shines through him beautifully. This figure ain't nothing to mess around with. It's a very nice release and I recommend him. I would recommend the new one, but that has derp eyes and I don't want any of you to support that release if that's the case. Monster X. I don't care what anyone says, I love this release so much. It is a great figure in my opinion. Monster X has a lot of good going for him. I love the sculpt and the paint job is really nice. Articulation, I admit, has weird engineering, but overall he still poses nicely at the end of the day. Monster X also sports a metallic bone color paint job, and it looks awesome honestly. No beams is a bummer, and those alternate hands are borderline useless because they look the same as the normal hands. So what the heck? And his price point is a no-go. Way too much for its own good. Monster X looks awesome, but not $150 awesome. I recommend him, but not for that price at all. Godzilla 2019. This is so much better than Godzilla 2014. Articulation is a lot better, sculpt is nicer, and the paint job is really nice. I love it. And he has a beam, so that's always good. Godzilla looks awesome here. He has a lot of good going for him, and I love it. Godzilla goes great with the other MonsterVerse figures too. This is a worthy addition to the collection, and I recommend him. Sure, he's not perfect, but he's still a very nice release. Godzilla is again also more posable than Godzilla 2014, so there's that. This is also a good example on how the MonsterVerse figures should be, because this is genuinely good, and it was before they botched the head sculpt. I recommend this figure if you could find it for a good price. Don't pay more than $150 on this, and be careful as well, there's a bootleg out there. Gigan 1972, one of the best looking MonsterArts figures in my opinion. He looks excellent. He has a couple of issues, but overall is still a very nice piece. The only issue is how fragile the sails are. They could break real easily if you're not careful, so don't ham-hand them at all. No beams or any accessories at all actually, and that price point is a no-no. But other than that, this is still an awesome figure. For any fans of the classic version of Gigan, I absolutely recommend this. Just make sure it's not a ridiculous price you find him for. He's great, but not $200 great. Mothra and Batra Larva set. This is an excellent set, giving us both larva forms of Mothra and Batra for the first time. That's awesome, and articulation on both of them ain't too shabby. They can pose pretty well, especially Mothra. Mothra also comes with a web accessory, but Batra does not get anything. Also, this was released at $100 MSRP, which is a little ridiculous, but overall is a great set. If you have both the Imago Mothra and Batra but no larvas, then yeah, I do recommend picking this set up. Just not for the prices you'll see on eBay. Avoid those listings like the plague. I know I'm saying that a lot, but it's true. Most of these MonsterArts figures out of print, prices are sky high. Godzilla 2000 Millennium Special Color Version Sakai concept. This and the regular Godzilla 2000 have been getting a bum rap as of late, people claiming these were never good figures. Screw you, yes they are. The Yuji Sakai design is not for everyone, it's an acquired taste for sure, so your mileage may vary. You'll either like it or hate it. I remember when the design was revealed and folks were pissed that this wasn't the suit version. We wouldn't get a Godzilla 2000 suit version until this year. Godzilla still is a nice release though. I really do like these figures a lot and I recommend them for sure. Speaking of which, Godzilla 2000 Millennium Sakai concept version. Like the special color version, this is also a great figure, but I enjoyed this one more since it's traditional Godzilla 2000 colors. I like this figure a lot. It's one of my favorites. Only issue is the head sculpt not being able to look up, so that's a shame. But other than that, this is still a good figure. I have a feeling folks started hating these figures because of what they aren't, which isn't fair to the figures. They were never advertised as being the suit versions. But still, if we had to get these to get the suit version of Godzilla 2000, then the wait was worth it. But still, this figure isn't bad at all, and I recommend them if you love the idea of concept designs and whatnot. These figures are pretty good. Godzilla 2004. This is a great piece right here. I love this figure in my opinion. It's definitely one of the better MonsterArts figures. Not suit accurate, but still a nice representation in all honesty. No beam sadly, and the price is absurd, but at least it's still a good figure. Articulation is excellent, sculpted paint apps are nice, although another issue is the eyes. They are not correct. And it's a gamble if you get a pair of eyes that are good or not, and spoilers, the reissue doesn't fix this. But overall, it has a nice presence on the shelf. I really do love this figure to pieces. It's a great release for sure. This is definitely one of the better MonsterArts figures. I recommend him if you love Godzilla Final Wars. This is a great release for sure. Get him sooner rather than later. Just be aware of the issues. Space Godzilla. The first Space Godzilla to release in MonsterArts still holds up incredibly well. The sculpt and colors are marvelous, and his articulation was an improvement over Godzilla 94. The mold nowadays needs an update. This was an excellent figure, still is. Also, he has a beam, which is awesome, and his crystal base doesn't have to be for the beam. It could be a nice display piece, so that's awesome. You still love getting custom bases like these. I recommend hunting this figure down for sure. He's one of the greats, released in MonsterArts Golden Age. I can tell you right now, this figure still holds up. Godzilla 1954 70th Anniversary Special Version. Oh my goodness, this is another great release in the line. Too expensive in my opinion, but everything else is chef's kiss. I could gush over this figure. The eyes are perfect, the sculpt is nice, the paint brings out all the sculpt details, and it pops on the shelf. The accessories really add to the figure as well. They're a lot of fun, and I love the 70th Anniversary display base. It's really nice. This is a great figure to celebrate the Big G's 70th anniversary. It does a lot of right that most MonsterArts today get wrong. I absolutely recommend this figure for sure. Get him now before his price skyrockets. Hedorah 1971 50th Anniversary Special Set. This is another fantastic release in the MonsterArts line. 2 issues though. 1. The flying form is missing the color pattern on its back, and 2. The price point. But besides those 2 things, I'm very happy with this set. It's really good. I wasn't expecting Hedorah with a design like hers to translate well into MonsterArts, but I'm really happy to be wrong about that. Hedorah looks great. Her sculpt and the colors I adore. She looks stunning. I love the translucent eyes too. That's a nice touch. Absolutely, I recommend these figures. You'll have a blast with it, especially if you're a Hedorah fan. She'll make a great addition to your collection. Godzilla 2002. Another good release. I love this figure as well. I think it's really nice. No beams again, which sucks, and that price point is ridiculous, but this is still a very nice release. Not suit accurate again, but that's not a big deal. I for one adore this figure. No beams again, which is sad, but it's not a big deal here. Godzilla here is awesome, and he's the perfect standard Godzilla for the collection. He can pair with most, if not all, monsters in the collection so far. He's one of the greats for sure, and I recommend him. Get this figure sooner rather than later. He'll make a great addition to your collection, and be a great Godzilla for the collection as well. Gigan 2004 Great Decisive Battle Version. This is why I couldn't recommend the first figure, because this one exists. Gigan has more accessories this time and is a bit more expensive, but the larger amount of accessories makes it worth it. A beam and the grapplers at the end of his hands, awesome. Gigan still can't close his mouth all the way, but that's fine. I love this figure a whole lot. I think it's fantastic. He has a lot of good going for him. He goes great with Final Wars Godzilla and Monster X. I recommend him very much if you could find him for a good price. He's worth it 100%. Godzilla Earth 2017. This is another fantastic release. Worth the price, has a couple of accessories, articulation is awesome, and the paint job is so much better than the last Godzilla 2017. It's night and day with this one. It looks incredible. Godzilla also is large and in charge. He commands a lot of attention. The metallic blue really helps him pop on the shelf, which is awesome. I love this figure a lot. He deserves a spot on your shelf. I recommend him if you could find him for a good price. He'll make a great addition to the collection. He's very much worth it. Get him sooner rather than later. King Ghidorah 1991 Special Color Version, a much needed upgrade after the first King Ghidorah 91 release. The wings are so much sturdier this time around and won't break as easily. It's still on the same double-hinged system, so it's not all fixed, but still an improvement. Ghidorah also comes with a flight stand, which is awesome. Not all flying figures come with that, so I'm glad Ghidorah has one. He's loaded with accessories as well. Has the kid ship and different colored gravity beams, pretty cool. This version of Ghidorah goes for a lot of money on the aftermarket, so if you find him for a good price, snag it. It's a really nice piece for sure. Destroya, he is stunning. A fantastic figure for sure. He commands a lot of space and attention. I'll never forget getting this figure on my birthday. I was so happy to get him. He's such a beautiful looking figure and packs a lot of articulation for his size. There are some issues, mind you, like the eyes being red and not yellow. Also, the paint on the chest cavity could use some work, but it's nothing awful. And unfortunately, this is the first figure with no accessories, so that's disappointing, and he was $150 at retail. I'd recommend him, but there's a reason I can't. Destroya special color version. This is the reason I can't recommend the first one, because this one just looks so much better. And he has accessories this time. Sure, they're not beams, but we have something at least. The yellow is very nice to look at, and in all honesty, the chest paint looks better as well. This is good for the same reasons as the first one. So I don't really have a lot to say here besides try to find him for a good price. He's very much worth it. I recommend him for sure. But again, try not to break the bank on him. He goes for a lot. Godzilla 1995 Birth version. Now this is another good release. I love this one. The first time the 95 mold got reused and repainted to look like a regular Heisei Godzilla. That's awesome. And he has a red beam, which is really cool. I love this figure a whole bunch. It's a shame they kept overusing this mold, but hey, this was a good release for its time, I must say. And still is a good release for sure. I highly recommend him. Find him for a good price and grab him. You won't be disappointed. He's a nice piece for sure. Just a shame they kept overusing the mold. Godzilla 1972. This is how every Showa Godzilla should be. Great looks, great articulation, preferably a good amount of accessories, and also in standard 6-inch scale for kaiju. Godzilla doesn't have a lot of accessories, but he still has something at least. Another negative is that price point. At least the figure itself is good, but still that high price is not warranted at all. Godzilla is great, and I recommend him if you love this design of Godzilla, or just Showa Godzilla as a whole. Godzilla here will fill in that spot perfectly. There's a reason this is considered the standard for Showa Godzilla. It's that good. Maybe I'm gushing, but I genuinely do think this is worth it if you can find it for a good price. Godzilla 2019 poster version. Now this is another awesome release. This one, perfect. The perfect MonsterVerse Godzilla in the MonsterArts line, still a beauty to look at to this day. From the gorgeous translucent body to the beam accessory to the articulation and sculpt, this is brilliant. Only downside is that he's not easy to find. He was exclusive to a Japanese Blu-ray box set for Godzilla King of the Monsters, much like Godzilla 2014 poster figure, so this one is not very accessible. If you could somehow find a figure for a good price, be sure to grab one. It's one of the greats. I highly recommend it. Jet Jaguar 2021, another fantastic release, and this one doesn't betray the source material. He looks like he hopped right out of the TV screen. He looks that good, and his articulation is awesome. Not only is he posable, but his articulation is pretty much seamless because of the design. It's that good. His size is good too. Out of all the singular point releases, this beats them all, easily. No contest. Jet Jaguar is amazing. If you enjoyed Singular Point or this version of Jet Jaguar, I would absolutely grab this figure. It is a banger release. Find him for a good price and you'll enjoy him, like I'm enjoying him. Biollante. Now this is another awesome figure. Biollante really made the mark for being the biggest monster art at the time of her release. When her prototype was shown, fans went nuts seeing it, but we had no idea if it was going to be commercialized. There was a chance we wouldn't even get this at all, but come 2013, she would get released. And boy howdy, she was expensive, but at least she was worth it. Her light up feature was cool. She had an excellent sculpt and paint job. Her articulation was good. Overall, she was awesome. Only downside is she maybe could have been bigger, but what can you do? She is so expensive on the aftermarket, but if you could somehow find her for a good price, you should grab it. Is what I would say if the next figure did not exist. Biolante Special Color Version. Just like the first version, she's just as good, but slightly better. I much prefer the colors on the special version than I do on the first version. I'm sorry, but I still think no matter what the figure, you can't go wrong. This version is the same, pretty much, except she has a different paint job. I would get this rather than the first version. This one just looks that much better to me. And maybe I'm wrong, but she feels sturdier. She doesn't fall apart as much. So there's another reason. I would say grab her. MFS3 Type 3 Kiryu Mechagodzilla 2002. This is another fantastic release. Everything a Kiryu fan can ask for. Kiryu looks fantastic, his paint is fantastic, his articulation is okay, and his accessories are banger. And that price is nice. Well worth the $96. This is a very nice release in my opinion. I honestly think he's fantastic. I would recommend him, but there's another figure that can take that 2002 spot. You'll see what I mean in a bit. But overall, yeah, he's good. Really good. MFS3 Type 3 Kiryu Mechagodzilla 2003. This is the Tokyo SOS version of Kiryu, and he's also really good. Great looks and accessories, alright articulation and price. He's really good again. He's a banger and I recommend him so much, because there doesn't exist a repaint of this design yet. Maybe in the future, but who knows. Either way, this is a nice figure for sure, and I recommend him if you need a Tokyo SOS Kiryu. He'll fill in that spot nicely. Just try not to break the bank for him. He's great, but not $250 great. MFS3 Type 3 Kiryu Mechagodzilla 2002 Shinagawa Final Battle version. This is the 2002 Kiryu I recommend because it comes with more stuff and I recommend him for that. He's such a nice release for sure. And he comes with the Absolute Zero cannon. That's awesome. And he has nicer colors to boot. He really is a nice figure. Fantastic. Possibly one of my favorite figures of all time. But he's not top of the top for me. His articulation is okay, but the legs need work on future figures. And the tail should be a bit longer. Maybe. But other than that, this is really good. I highly recommend him. Don't break the bank for him and you'll be golden. You'll love him like I do. But he doesn't make the #1 spot because I'm gonna get so many questions after this. Kong 2021 Exclusive Edition. This figure, in my opinion, is the best S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla figure, period. He has everything from good looks to great articulation, a great chunk of accessories, and all for a price of less than $100, and he's still affordable to grab. This guy deserved to sell out. He's that good to me. I love him. He's fantastic. I was so glad to get this guy when I first got him, and he still is just as good to me as he was then. He's amazing, and I think you'll love him if you're a Kong fan like me. He's such a good release. Grab him when you can. He deserves a spot on that Monsterverse shelf for sure. This is a criminally underrated figure because not a lot of folks talk about him or say he's bad. Not to me. He's amazing in my opinion, and I think if you're a Monsterverse fan, you'll love him too.
This video took quite a bit to do, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you look forward to the next MonsterArts project I have planned. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the list. Leave a like on the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Leave a comment, tell me what's your list of personal favorite MonsterArts, let's have a chat, and subscribe if you like my content, and hit the bell icon if you don't want to miss any of my content. That being said, I'm Super Mariozilla, or you can call me Vinny, and I am out. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.